Welcome to my Week 5 matchup in the PSL. This week I am facing Chu, coach of the Jacksonville Jolteons, and his team is quite hard to prep for, seeing as how he has Magirna, which is always a threat, and as well as Terrakion, which is hits quite hard physically. He has Speed Passing and Scolipede. He has Mega Houndoom, which can take advantage of my Sun. And he has Great Walls in Milotic, Donphan, and Jardigon, as well as a bit of Bolt Turn in Mesprit, Rotom, and Decidueye. So this week I am bringing a more defensive team to hopefully stall out his mons. First off, I have my Mega Gardevoir, which has enough speed to outspeed a timid Mesprit but not a Rotom, and that is because if he does bring Rotom, I expect it to be Scarfed, so it will outspeed my Gardevoir even if I had that speed in there, and I rather put those points into HP to get a little bit more off from my wish. Modest Hyper Voice will one-shot a lot of his mons, and I have Energy Ball there to hit KO the Melodic if it is defensive. If it is especially defensive, then I will have to try and Toxic it. And next up, I have an Assault Vest Torkoal. With this spread, it will be able to 1v1 Magearna, no problem. If the Magearna is Assault Vest, then I will be out damaging it with Lava Plume. If it is, even if he has HP round, if he is some sort of Z crystal, then I will definitely be able to out damage it. If he is Specs, then I will be able to out damage it because it will not have the Spadef boost from the Assault Vest, and Lava Plume will hit quite hard in the sun. I have enough defense investment to survive a Choice Banded Jolly Terrakion Stone Edge, and then I will know that is Choice Banded, and I can play appropriately. And I can possibly heal up later with that wish on Mega Gardevoir. And next up, I have my Politoed with Drizzle. That is because of his Mega Houndoom. If he decides to bring it, I do not want the sun to be permanently up and him launching off Fire Blast or Dark Pulse with that solar power. So I have a special death variant of Politoed with Scald for that Mega Houndoom as well as the Terrakion. And the Donphan. I have Ice Beam on there for the Decidueye and the Scolipede if the rain is up already and he decides to bring that in and try and sub up. I have the Ice Beam for that, as well as for the Jardigon. I have Toxic on there for the Milotic, as well as the Jardigon. I have Protect to possibly scout out a Z move, as well as to burn a Toxic turn to whittle down his Mon some more. Next up, I have a defensive variant Tangrowth for that Jardigon if it is more offensive, as well as the Terrakion and the Scolipede. And it does well against the Decidueye and the Donphan. I'm running knockoff on this to knock off the Decidueye, the Mesprit, and the Rotom. It hits super effectively, as well as to possibly knock off Melodic's leftovers or maybe a Flame Orb before it gets burned. If it does have the Flame Orb, I am running Leech Seed to get that Whittle, which I would not be able to get without the Toxic. I have Giga Drain for stab, and even if he switches his Terrakion in on the knockoff to get that +1 boost, a Flyinium Z Aerial Ace will not be able to kill me, and a Choice Banded Aerial Ace will not be able to kill me. And I can heal up with Giga Drain or Leech Seed it, and then switch out to get that Regenerator. Next up, I have my Seismitoad, which is a new addition to my team. I did drop Beartic because even though it was an Ice type, I did not see it playing an important role, and with its low speed stat, I would not feel comfortable bringing it as a rain sweeper because so far my rain sweeping has not gone so well with Armaldo. So I picked up Seismitoad, which is also a good rain sweeper, as well as a well-needed ground type to take those electric attacks. I have Stealth Rocks on this to get some chip on it, and he might expect Torkoal to be my Stealth Rocker, so he might lead with Donphan, predicting that, and instead I will lead off with Seismitoad with the clear matchup and be able to get up my rocks for free. I have enough speed to outspeed the Decidueye. That is Jolly. Without the rain. With the rain, I will outspeed, I believe, a +1 Scolipede. I have Earthquake for the Magearna and the Mega Houndoom and the Terrakion. I have Surf for that Donphan, even though I am a Jolly variant in the rain. Surf will be able to take out Donphan. And I have Ice Punch for that Decidueye, as well as the Jardigon. And last but not least, I have my Mandibuzz with Iron Defense. After an Iron Defense, his Terrakion will not be able to two-hit KO me. And then I can possibly Roost or Toxic. I am not running a Dark move because that Terrakion will get a +1 attack if I hit it with it. Instead, I am running Bone Rush, which won't be able to hit the Mesprit or the Rotom, but I can easily Toxic stall them with Toxic and Roost. And I have Bone Rush to get the Magearna in on the switch, or the Terrakion if they think they can easily come in on my Mandibuzz. And that is it for my team. Looking at his team, I will try and get a sweep with Seismitoad, or just naturally try and stall. Some mons that I have to be careful of are that Rotom, since the only dark / ghost move I am running is on my Tingrowth. With knockoff, I will have to be careful if it is Scarped, and I will have to predict if it is going to go for the Hidden Power Grass on my Seismitoad, or if it's going to go, if he predicts me to switch in my Seismitoad, or if he is going to go for that Volt Switch or Shadow Ball. And I have to worry about Scolipede passing that speed to Magirna, which will be quite a threat with speed, and make sure that my Torkoal is healthy for that, because Torkoal is my one wall to Magirna. So I have to keep my Mega Gardevoir and my Torkoal healthy to make sure that I can deal with that Magirna. Looking at his team, I am expecting the Terrakion and the Magirna, as well as the Druddigon over the Donphan as his rocker, because I do have the Sun, as well as Politoed, Seismitoad in the rain. Armaldo can take it out with an Aqua Tail, so I do not expect him to bring Donphan. So Magirna, Terrakion, Druddigon, and his Decidueye, because I do have Seismitoad now. So his last two mons are a he'll probably also bring Milotic because it is such a great wall. And his last mon can be a toss-up between probably Rotom and Mega Houndoom. So that is my prediction. Him bringing Magirna, Milotic, Decidueye, Terrakion, Druddigon, and either Mega Houndoom or Rotom. He could also bring the Scolipede for speed passing, but his team is already naturally faster than most of my team, so I do not think he will bring that. And let us get into the match now. Here we are in the battle against Chew for week 5, and looking at his team, I see that he did not bring Milotic, which means that my Seismitoad is going to have an easier time sweeping once I have whittled his Decidueye and make sure he does not have a Shukaberry on either his Magirna or his Terrakion, which that is possible. So expecting him to lead off with his rocker Donphan. I lead off with Seismitoad, like I said. Expecting him to switch, I am going to go for the free rocks as he brings in the Decidueye. Not wanting to take a Leaf Blade, I go into Tangrowth. However, he goes for a U-turn. Luckily, I am Fizzdeath on this, so I will not be taking much damage. Expecting him to Toxic or spin away his own rocks, I go for the Giga Drain, bringing it down quite low and breaking it sturdy. Expecting him to switch out and preserve it. I go into my Politoed, getting up the rain, forcing him to double switch. Expecting him to go into Decidueye. I do go for the Toxic. Now, to get some Toxic damage off, I do go for the Protect, scouting out to see if what kind of set he is, maybe. He goes for the U-turn again, expecting him just to do that to try and get me to stay in. I do switch, however, he does go for it again, and this time he is bringing in his Scolipede, and seeing as how I am Fizzdeath, I go for the knockoff one to knock off maybe a Black Sludge. Get the crit, no item knocked off. This shows that it is a Z Crystalmon, and I am expecting it to be the ground Z move because I do have Torkoal, which walls it pretty well. I go for the Leech Seed. Miss, of course. Not wanting to take more damage on this because it is my wall to Terrakion. I go out into Mandibuzz. Not doing much damage. I expect him to go out into his Magearna, expecting me to be like Defog, Foul Play, Air Slash, that kind of Mandibuzz, but I do go for the Bone Rush, as he does bring in his Magearna, and I do get 5 hits off on the Bone Rush, which is quite lucky on me. And then I go out into my Assault Vest Torkoal, knowing that this can't do much to me. And I can just go for an Earthquake, knocking it out, or gain damage off onto this Terrakion switch. And since he's not a Z Crystalmon, because his Scolipede is, I just bring in my Tangrowth as he goes for the Stone Edge, and he misses, which is quite lucky for me as well. Expecting him to switch, I do go for the Leech Seed, expecting maybe the Magearna to come in again, but this time he brings in his Houndoom, not wanting it to get solar power boosted damage off. I go into my Politoed as he goes for the Dark Pulse, and this time I go for the safe Scald as he switches out into his Decidueye. Gain more damage on it. Expecting him to maybe go for the double, since I did reveal the Protect earlier. I go out into Tangrowth, however, he does go for the U-turn, and he brings in his Donphan, gain up rocks because it is faster than my Tangrowth. This time he brings in his Scolipede again, and I know if I can get a Leech Seed off onto this, I can recover almost as much as it does with the Poison Jab. And I make the double into my Mandibuzz, forgetting that I did not have Defog on this, because that was my intention, is to go into Mandibuzz, recover a bit, and then Defog. So I just go for the Bone Rush instead, because silly me, I did not put removal on this team, which is going to come to bite me later on. I accidentally misclick and click on Tangrowth, which means there is more damage onto my Mons than I wanted. I go for the Scald again, not wanting him to predict me to go for another move. Knowing that he will most likely go for the U-turn again, I do go for the Protect, as he does go for the U-turn. And this time, I'm expecting him to go for his Leaf Blade, because he has been pretending like he can only U-turn. However, he is special, and since I have no special defense on this Tangrowth, that is doing a lot, and not wanting to take more damage because I need it to wall Terrakion, I just go out into my Mega Gardevoir as it goes down to Toxic. And I was hoping that it would take me out. However, it does not, which is putting me in a sticky situation where he has this Scolipede out with coverage for the rest of my Mons, except for... And I go into Torkoal knowing that I had 66%, but since I did not have hazard removal, that does take me down to where I am in range of a normal Earthquake instead of him having to use his Z Tectonic Rage, which is going to hurt later. So I bring in my Politoed, second it off, so that I can bring in my Seismitoad, knowing that I can take a Tectonic Rage not well, but decently enough where I can get 4 attacks off with the Life Orb on it. And he goes for the Tectonic Rage. I knew this was coming. I knew I could live, but he crits me. And that is quite unfortunate, because without that crit, I could have easily gotten 4 hits off. And then that is game to the Scolipede sweeping the rest of my mods. And that is it for this battle. Leave a comment in the description how you thought this team builder was and how this game went. Any ideas for later matches, and I will see you next week for week 6 of the PSL. Bye.